$32 billion in user funds vanished in under 7 days, leaving the world's second largest cryptocurrency exchange a hollow shell of worthless code. For thousands of FTX investors, that lottery ticket dream turned into a digital nightmare overnight. Behind the flashy commercials and celebrity endorsements lay a web of unchecked leverage and missing billions. We are peeling back the frantic final days of Sam Bankman-Fried's empire to see exactly how the house of cards collapsed. Ambition fueled the largest financial meltdown of the digital age. And the last detail? It is the one that proves this wasn't just a mistake, but a calculated disaster. So sit back, grab a cup of water, and let's get into the anatomy of the collapse. To understand the fall, you have to look at the rise of Sam Bankman-Fried, or SBF as the media dubbed him. In 2021, he was the golden boy of the crypto world. He wasn't the stereotypical Wall Street suit. He wore messy hair, cargo shorts, and t-shirts to high-level meetings with venture capitalists. He promised a frictionless future where money could move across the globe as easily as an email. People trusted him. Why? Because he claimed to be an altruist. He didn't want the money for yachts. He wanted to donate it all to charity. This effective altruism narrative was his shield. It made investors feel like their money was working for the greater good. In July 2021, he raised $900 million in a single funding round. His valuation soared to $18 billion. But behind the scenes, there was a secret machine working. The machine was called Alameda Research. It was SBF's personal hedge fund, founded years before the exchange itself. The problem was that these two entities were supposed to be separate, but they weren't. You see, FTX was the exchange where you traded your money for crypto, and Alameda was a massive trading firm making bets with that same money. When you deposit your crypto on an exchange, you assume it's sitting in a vault. Instead, SBF was using that customer money to fund Alameda's reckless bets. It is the equivalent of a bank taking your savings and betting it all on red at a roulette table in Vegas. For a while, the market was up, so nobody noticed the missing billions. The illusion held. But the market has a way of exposing the truth when things turn sour. Here's the first real crack in the foundation. In early November 2022, a report leaked detailing the balance sheet of Alameda Research. It showed that the bulk of their assets wasn't real money like dollars or stable coins. It was a token called FTT, which FTX created out of thin air. Imagine if a bank claimed to be solvent because it owned billions of dollars worth of its own monopoly money. That is what was happening. When the public saw this, the panic started. People rushed to the exchange to withdraw their funds. This is a classic bank run. In a normal bank, you might have to wait a few days. But on a crypto exchange, this should be automated. SBF had one simple rule. If you want your money, you get it. But on that day, the withdrawals stopped. Imagine hitting the refresh button on your account, seeing a zero, and realizing you have no way to get your life savings back. Thousands of people went through that exact nightmare. The exchange didn't have the assets to pay anyone back. They were broke. If this is clicking for you, hit subscribe. I break down complex financial stories like this every week, and the ending of this one is even more shocking. Now, here is where it gets interesting. As the panic escalated, SBF scrambled to find a bailout. He reached out to everyone. He went to Binance, his biggest rival, and asked for a lifeline. For 24 hours, there was a rumor that a deal might save the day. But when Binance looked at the books, really looked at the books, they pulled out immediately. The hole in the balance sheet was too deep. It was $8 billion of missing customer money. $8 billion. Think about that number for a second. That is more than the GDP of many small countries. It wasn't just a liquidity crunch. It was a total lack of existence. All right, ready for the one I've been saving for you? This is the detail that changed everything. In the court proceedings that followed, we learned that SBF had set up a backdoor in the software code. This wasn't a glitch. It was a deliberate line of code that allowed Alameda Research to bypass all internal safety checks. It allowed them to withdraw customer funds without permission. That wasn't an oversight. That was a tool designed to hide the theft. He didn't just borrow the money. He built a private bridge to steal it whenever he needed. Most people assume that big financial failures come from bad luck. But here, the architecture of the platform was fundamentally corrupted from the start. Once you see that, you realize the whole company wasn't an exchange. It was a sophisticated facade for a ledger that never balanced. Let that sink in for a moment. All those years of building trust, the celebrity endorsements, the Super Bowl ads, the political donations, it was all funded by a secret code that allowed one man to raid the pockets of his own users. When SBF was eventually arrested in the Bahamas, the irony was thick. He had campaigned for regulation of the crypto industry, claiming he wanted to protect the little guy from bad actors. He turned out to be the biggest bad actor of them all. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The billions of dollars? most of it is gone. It was liquidated in bad trades, spent on luxury penthouses, or given away to people who didn't even know it was stolen. The lesson here isn't just about crypto. It is about the dangers of blind trust. We often assume that because a company is popular or backed by big names, it must be safe. We ignore the warning signs because the story feels good. We let our desire to see a good guy succeed override our common sense. But financial reality doesn't care about narratives. It only cares about the math. And when the math stopped adding up, the empire vanished, leaving thousands of people with nothing but a transaction history that will never be fulfilled. So, there you go. 3 steps to the total collapse of a $32 billion giant, and that last piece about the hidden code. That is the definitive proof of the intent behind the curtain. It's a sobering look at what happens when the lines between personal ambition and customer trust are erased entirely. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with someone who keeps asking you about the next big thing in finance. It's a great way to stay grounded. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the stories that shape our world. I'll see you in the next one.